What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out the latest rugged device from AGM. The one that I have here today is called the G2 Guardian, and this is in fact the most expensive rugged device that I got to try up until now. So depending on your location, you're gonna have to spend somewhere around $1,000 to get this phone, so definitely not a cheap phone. So why is this phone so expensive? Well, a big part of it has to do with the long-range thermal monocular module that we have on the back of the device. To give you an example, if you check out on Amazon a device like this, you're not gonna find a decent one for under $500 or $600. So this is a big part why this phone is so expensive. So you can use this phone in a lot of situations, in a lot of conditions. So for example, you could use this phone for hunting because you can see the heat signature of whatever animal you may be looking for. You can use this for search and rescue. You can use this in construction and a bunch of other uses as well. Now, of course, not everyone will be using a feature like this, but for the people that do, this could come in super handy. So that is why this phone is so expensive. Of course, this phone is also waterproof, shockproof, and also dustproof. So you can take this phone to the beach, for example, you can go swimming with it, you can have it in sand and nothing will happen to it. So probably one of the most advanced rugged device available on the market. The device also has an 108 megapixel main camera on the back here. We have a 2 megapixel macro camera and then we have a 20 megapixel infrared night vision camera. So with this camera you can take pictures in complete darkness. So this is not like the night mode that you get on a lot of smartphones these days. This is night vision 100%. So we have infrared LEDs there and you can take pictures in complete darkness. Now, these are some examples of pictures that I took with that 108 megapixel sensor. So yes, if you do use the full resolution of that main camera, you can definitely zoom in a lot on those pictures and you're not gonna be losing quality. Now, in the center here, we also have a speaker. This is one of the loudest speakers that I heard on any mobile phone, I'm gonna say. Now, I can show you a quick sample video so you can hear how loud this speaker gets, but I don't think my microphone will be able to capture that that well. But let me play a short recording just so you can hear how good this speaker on the back sounds like. As you've noticed by now, this is also a pretty thick device. Of course, that has a lot to do with that thermal imaging sensor that we have on the back. There we have to do the 7000 milliamp hour battery that's inside the device, and of course that speaker that's on the back. So yes, this is a thick device and it weighs about 405 grams. So definitely not the lightest phone out there. Taking a quick look at the device, well, we do have a lot of plastic, rubberized plastic everywhere, so the corners here have more material. So if the phone would be dropped on a corner, nothing should happen to it. At the top here we have a flashlight. The flashlight is pretty bright as well. On the right hand side here we have the volume buttons and the power button. The power button is also a fingerprint scanner, and as a fingerprint scanner it does work pretty good. So it takes half a second from the time you touch it for the phone to unlock. On the other side of the device, we have the SIM card slot. So this device can take 2 SIM cards or a SIM card and an SD card. And then we have a customizable button right there. So you can make that button do pretty much anything you want. At the bottom here, we have a little rubber flap that will cover the USB-C charging port and the 3.5mm audio jack. So yes, you can connect some headphones to this device and you can listen to music with those headphones and so on. Something that we don't typically see with a lot of phones these days. Talking about that USB-C charging port, so the device supports 18 watt charging, and yes, there is a charger that comes in the box with it. Moving on to the screen, so this is a 6.58 inches IPS panel that has a resolution of 1080p and a refresh rate of 120 Hz. So yes, scrolling up, scrolling down, playing games does feel smoother than other rugged devices that I got to try in the past that had a refresh rate of 60 Hz. So good thing to see on a rugged device. Now, the brightness of the screen is not mentioned anywhere on the manufacturer's website. If I would be to guess, the brightness is around 500 to 700 nits. So of course, if you're using the phone indoors, you're gonna be able to see it really well, and you can still see it outdoors. But this is not as bright as the screen that you'd get on an iPhone or a Galaxy device. And I'm talking about the top of the line for the iPhone and of course the Galaxy devices. How about performance? Well, first of all, the device runs Android 12, and on top of that Android 12 we have a very light skin. It's very close to stock Android, so there are no useless apps that come pre-installed, so everything does run quite smooth on this device. Now inside this device we have the Qualcomm 6490 chipset, and I'm sure that many of you haven't heard of that before. Well, that's kind of comparable or maybe even a bit better with the Snapdragon 778, I'm gonna say. That's also paired to 12 gigs of RAM, and the device has 256 gigs of internal storage. And if you do run the Antutu benchmark on this device, you're gonna get a score of just under 600,000. So you already know that you're looking at a pretty powerful device, and pretty much all the applications that you're gonna be using on it will work really good. I've also done some gaming. I was curious to see how well that chipset does for gaming, and I was surprised to see how well it performs. So probably the most powerful, the most fluid, rugged device that I got to try up until now. The phone also supports 5G connectivity, even though my carrier doesn't support 5G, so I was not able to test that out. There is an NFC chip inside it, so you can make payments with it. I tried the GPS unit inside it, and it takes about a second to find your location, and once it finds your location, it doesn't seem to lose it. And we do have a variety of sensors available as well. So definitely the main selling point for this device will be the long-range thermal monocular module that we have on the back here. So for example, I can point this at the camera and I can figure out what temperature different parts of my camera has. Now, as I said, this will be used for hunting because you can see the animals from their heat signature. You can use it in construction, for example. You can use it in some rescue missions and so on. Now, I feel that someone like me may not necessarily use this phone to its full potential, because when am I gonna use this feature? Kind of never. So this phone is aimed at those people that will actually use a feature like this, because, well, this is more than a phone that you can play games with. This is more of a tool, I'm gonna say. So what do you guys think of a phone like this? Would you ever buy something like this? Would you use a feature like this? Definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. So there you have it. This is the AGM G2 Guardian. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.